Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate your support, everyone being here, everyone sharing the videos and subscribing. Thank you so much. It means a whole lot. It's great to see everyone today. And as I had said last week that I was going to do a different video today, I'm not sure if you all got that message. The topic is helping others to heal and manifest through prayer. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We're not going to have a sermon here on it, but I just want to share some ways that help me to heal. All these things that I've been sharing with you are ways that I heal. But before we get into that, I hope everyone had a great weekend and that some of these tidbits and information that's being shared here is helping you in your own life with your own situations and with your ability to heal things. And I'm going to keep this going because the key factor here is perseverance, never giving up and never giving in. You fall off that ladder, but you get back up and you keep going. And because we're human and, we have our own faults, we fall, but we don't stay there. We get up and keep going. That's the key factor here. Now, before I get into the topic of discussion for today, I'm going to talk about, first of all, this rain. Anybody notice all this rain? Anyway, what I wanted to say, because I have an outline here so I don't forget the things that I want to cover here today. First of all, what I wanted to talk about is negative comments. I understand that not everyone is on a bandwagon to healing and, listening to the things that help me. Because, first of all, I am not a therapist of any sort. I'm just a person who's gone through so much grief and loss that I had to find ways to heal myself, from all of this. And I spoke about it. If you don't know the story, go back and watch some previous videos of mine. You'll hear the story so that I'm not redundant here. Um, and I talk about ways that I was able to heal. I'm still healing. Healing process is ongoing. And I spoke about some ways here that I heal, you know, um, and what's helping me. And if I can do it, you guys can do it too, because none of this is easy. If it was easy, I guess everybody would do it. But in any event, the point that I'm trying to make here is that some people do not want to heal. Some people want to stay where they are. They don't care about healing, growing, expanding, etc. And that's okay because we all have a choice. We all have a choice in a matter. However, if that's your choice, that's fine. But don't try to stop other people from hearing the message. Please do not try to stop other people from healing because that's their choice to heal. If they want to get on a bandwagon to heal, to grow, especially after being in a lot of pain due to loss, grief, and traumatic situations, then let them heal. Nobody has the right to try to stop that. And I'm saying this because any negative comments that I get, and I'm not talking about helpful um, advice or solutions or something like that. I'm talking about negative comments to try to stop this channel or stop other people from growing. I will read those comments, but what I'm going to do after reading them, I'm going to delete. And then if it continues, I'm going to make sure you can't comment here anymore. And the reason why I'm talking about this because to my email as well. If you want to send me uh, topics like what you want me to talk about and discuss on this channel, that's fine. I welcome all of that. But anything that's derogatory or negative, I'm going to read them and then I'm going to delete them. And if I continue to get them, I will block you from my email and from this channel because that's not what this is about. It's about helping people because a lot of people out there are grieving and also they are dealing with depression and traumatic situations. And this channel is to uplift people, to encourage them, not the other stuff, the toxic stuff. I don't do toxicity. So if you bring it here, I'm going to address it. And then if it continues, I'm just going to delete. So now that we have that out of the way, because I'm not entertaining any negativity here, this is not what this channel is for. Um, I'm going to talk about two other things before we get into that topic. I read something probably a couple of days ago about a woman who, older woman, who is a widow, and she lost her husband. I'm not sure if it was a few years ago, but she talked about how she was scammed. And I just talked about this briefly last week on this channel. And she talked about meeting a guy over the internet on a dating site. And she started a conversation, and he seemed, she's been lonely, I guess, since the loss of her husband. So started up this conversation, and they started talking every day. I don't think she met this guy in person. This is where I have the issue with. So for 4 or 5 months or whatever, she was talking with this guy, making plans to meet, etc. He asked her for some money, and she gave him her life savings. I forgot what it was in reference to. It was something, but that should have been a red flag, a huge red flag. That should have been a siren going off when that happened. Because anyone asking anybody for some money and you're on a dating site, I don't care if it's 6 months later and you're talking and talking, that's a huge red flag that this is not okay. And everyone has an intuition, and if you get that feeling, that gut feeling that something is wrong, you have to go with it. If it's looking and talking and quacking like a duck, it's a duck. Go with that gut feeling. And when I read her story, and I felt bad for her because she lost her whole life savings. I'm not sure exactly of the number, but because I was like zoning in on, oh my God, you gave money to this person? And she was supposed, oh, it had something to do with a home that they were going to live together, something like that. And she went to move in this home at this address, and her and her son, and that he didn't own the home. It wasn't, it belonged to somebody else. It was horrific. And she lost everything. It gave her life savings. I think she gave $100,000 or something like that. And the more I read, the more I cringe, because we have to be careful in the world we live in today. If anybody asks you for money on any dating site or whatever, no, it's a scam. No, this is a con artist. And I had to learn the hard way, because when I was younger, I did that. I had to go through these lessons 3 times. I was scammed. So I am very careful with everything that I do today. And in this event, she lost everything, even a place to live, because I think she had put a house up and gave him the money, whatever. But I'm saying, OMG, this is not okay, and I felt bad about it. So I want to address here any kind of situation, and it doesn't have to be a dating site, people. It could be emails that you get, that um, an email that from the IRS that says that you have to do A, B, C, and D. Remember, the IRS is never going to send you an email. They will send you mail through the mail, or a Social Security office about call this number, etc. Things like that. Your radar should be going off, because these things are scams. What I do, if I get anything like that concerns me, I get off of the email, find the number to the Social Security office myself. I'm going to Google it and then call and then reference the email that I got. And 9 times out of 10, it's a scam, because I've gotten a few of these things where it says, you better call right now. We're going to freeze this, freeze that on your account, etc. And what I did is shut it, put the email to the side, call the specific, Google the specific company reference or whatever, call and find out. And that's like with your bank, for example. One time I got something from my bank and it went to my phone that said something with my account, and they wanted me to verify my information. And I said, wow, this is weird because it's out of the ordinary. And when something is out of the ordinary, then what I did is just call the bank itself and find out if they sent that. They said, no, delete that. That's a scam. And that's what I did. Before you make an impulsive decision, and if your intuition is going off and you feel already feel some kind of way about this, don't do it. Just investigate more, research, because this is how people fall victims to scams and lose their money and things like that. Think about what's being asked in those emails and phone calls. I just let it go to voicemail. When I see an unrecognized number, and if they don't leave a message, it says a lot to me because I'm not going to answer it. So just be careful because they're getting more and more sophisticated with these scams. That is another thing I want to talk about. So let's jump right in. Guys, I want to tell you guys a story about something. Um, I want to tell this story because I was thinking about this over the weekend. My mom, if her spirit is around me, she's going to smack me. But because I never told her this, but anyway, my mom was a person, like we used to go to the hairdresser all the time together. My mom always loved to look good and makeup and clothing, and she had a wardrobe in her closet, I swear, looked like Macy's department store. All of the things, different things, and I was a lot smaller back then. So, one time she worked at night. She did the graveyard shift, and what what am I was still living at home. I had moved away, but I moved back eventually, back home. So I was working for this company in because I'm from New York, in New York City, and this guy who worked at the job where I was telling me about this New Year's party. I had never been to Times Square, and you guys know where I'm going with this, right? So he invited me to a party that was at Times Square. Now, I love to anything with dancing and music. I did a lot of that back in the day. I don't do a lot of that now. I just do my headset, but anything that had to do with music and dancing. So he invited me to this party, and I didn't have anything to wear. And guess what? I went through my mom's closet when she went to work, because she worked, like, she didn't come home until like 9:30 the next morning. So what I did is waited for her to leave, went through her closet, and found this off-white. I don't know why I chose this one pantsuit that she had. It was really beautiful. And I don't know what I was thinking. When you're young, you do these dumb things. And at the party, these people at the party smoke cigarettes. So when people smoking cigarettes and a whole party of people, it's gonna smell. It's gonna get into the clothes. And I did smoke cigarettes for about 3 months, but I stopped because for me, anything that's gonna make my clothes smell or hair, anything like that, I'm particular like that. So it was just socially, and then I just stopped. But anyway, at this party, um, I picked out this outfit. I got on a bus. No, I took a cab to the train and took the train. Just on New Year's. This is crazy. New Year's Eve. And I went through all the crowd, found the address, went to this party, and stayed there until about 4 o'clock in the morning. Because I never been, even though I lived in New York, all my life mostly. I've never been in Times Square. So from the penthouse where I was, you can see everybody and everything. And a party, it was just a lot of people, a lot of stuff. And I wore my mom's outfit. And then I got back home before she did. And then instead of getting the outfit clean at the cleaners or whatever, I didn't even think about that. I put it back in the closet. But what I did, I hid it behind some other clothes because she had so many. But I didn't think about the cigarette smell. And that's why I'm talking about it, because I said, oh my God. She wears this outfit, she's gonna know because of the cigarette smell. But I don't know how I got away with that. But these are some of the dumb things I did when I was younger, besides, taking my father's car to go meet someone without his permission and getting into trouble when I got back home, you know, just little stuff like that. So when I think about my mom and I think about this situation, and I'm saying if she knew I did this, guys, I can't even explain how much trouble I would be in. And then, we have kids, and our kids test us with stuff too. One time, my son had my car, well, started it or whatever, and he broke the key off in the ignition. And I'm like, this is, and then I started to think about some of the stuff I did. But anyway, I wanted to share that story because, um, just sharing a little bit about my mom and some of the things I did. But anyway, let's get into this topic of discussion, helping others to heal and manifest through prayer. Um, what I've noticed for me is when I ask God for something in prayer and something I really want and really need, and I pray to Him, not only do I pray to Him about what I need, I work in accordance to that prayer. Like, for example, let's say I wanted, like, getting a degree from school. It's not, I have to do the work. It's not going to be a genie in a bottle and I ask to have a degree and then poof, here we are. No, I work in accordance to what I want. If Let me see if I can use another example. Um, like if I wanted to, like, get a certain position, or a certain job or position or whatever, then I work in accordance to getting that position, updating the resume, put in my skills, etc., and then start sending out interviews. That's one of the simplest way to explain this. Working in accordance. What I notice when I do that, God does the rest. If I take a step or two forward to work in accordance to what I want, God does the rest. And I've been noticing that. And especially after I had this rage prayer in the beginning when I was losing everybody and everything, with God, starting to question why this is happening. And once I went through all that with God and that raging and whatever that was, my life changed in so many ways, but for the better. And not only has it changed for the better, but I work, excuse me, guys, I'm having some sinus issues today. So I work in accordance to everything that I want, you know? What this means is that I put forth the effort to, in accordance to the things that I want and need, and He will do the rest. If you are sincere in your prayers and you are not asking for something for selfish reasons or whatever, you really are sincere and honest within your prayer, and you work towards that, and you're persevering in what you want, God will help you. And this is what I noticed. This has been my personal experience with God each time that I put forth an effort in reference to what I'm praying to, and He answers these prayers. What I say to everyone here, never give up and never give in, because grief will change your life forever. Because losing a loved one who meant so much to your life and who added so much, and they're no longer here, it changes your life forever. That's why I say you never get over it, the loss, but you can get through it. Like losing my mom out of all of this and my dog, I talk about this because it's a huge loss. Some people within our family are the matriarch of the family, you know, and, we used to have Sunday dinner and sit and eat together and etc. Those things are no longer because they're not here. And I think people understand what I'm talking about If you have matriarchs within your family who are no longer here, things are not the same anymore because they're not here. And that's what I'm starting to notice. And it makes me sad, you know? But my mom would not want me to be sad and stagnated and not moving forward in life because she's no longer here. She lived life to the fullest. She embraced it. We always, as kids, went on trips. You know, we went to Florida. We went to Disney World. We went to, remember Connecticut when they had the Danbury Fair? We went to where they have the Amish people, the Rockettes, and you know, in New York City, the ice capades. We were always doing something, always had busloads of trips and doing things. That's how my mom went. And then later on in life, she started to go on cruises a lot, you know, and you just keep moving. My mom was a storyteller. You know, I guess that's where my ability to write comes in from that. Just she can sit and tell a story and have everybody's attention. You know, she was always doing something, and that's how I am. And I miss that because I felt grounded because of having all of that. Always being taught to be a lady, not acting out of character. You know, we all get angry and we have something. Don't allow anyone to get me to a point of, you know, on their low level. You know, I was always taught that. And I miss that. You know, I miss having that and those conversations with her. You know, when I was having some issues, you know, parenting and things, talking to my mom about certain things. When she got older, and, you know, especially after I had my son, she mellowed out in so many ways. I would have these conversations. I'd be upset about certain things. And she would just say, well, take your time, make sure you do this. And first, calm down, you know, she would tell me. And it would be hard under the circumstances. But I guess, you know, she found a way to mellow out in life. And I miss those conversations we had. You know, so anyone here, you have your parents, you have your loved ones, hold on to that. You know, because one day when they're not here, you're going to know what grief feels like. And it's not, it doesn't feel good at all. You know, because sometimes the grief, I have trigger moments. You know, I could be someplace, I could see something. I still have that, but not as much as I did in the beginning when it first happened. But I still have that. And there's times where I just have to find a way to deal with it. And it's not easy. It's never easy. Because knowing that that parent or that loved one or spouse or whomever they may be in your life is no longer here, you don't have that connection, not in the natural anyway. You know, they're not here in the physical. And you know, it's hard. It gets hard. So communication with me, just being able to communicate how I feel is important. That's why I still do therapy. My therapist I meet with every week, you know, and we talk. And we talk about my mom. We talk about how I feel, how I'm doing, you know, and it's important. And it's important to me to pay it forward to other people because other people are hurting. But one of the things I wanted to stress here is that prayer, even, you know, and when you pray to God, pray from your heart. Tell him how you feel. If you're angry about something, say I'm angry about that. You don't have to do any rehearsed prayers. You know, say how you feel, just like if you were talking to your regular father who was here and you're angry about something, say you're angry. I had a whole lot of those anger conversations about how I felt, you know, and it was never easy. And then as I started to work in accordance to what I needed to do, everything became easier in my life, you know. And what I learned, people, let me tell you what I learned. We all go through those hard and difficult times because sometimes we need lessons in our life. Excuse me again, guys. We need lessons in our life. Like sometimes people and situations are not meant to stay in our life. You know that saying, people come into your life or situations for a reason, season, or a lifetime? That is true. You know, not everything is meant to stay in our life. And what I had to do is cleanse house, you know, clean out some stuff I had. You know, we could call it like debris, that was keeping me stuck and stagnated because I wasn't learning the lessons. So when we don't learn lessons, they come back around again. And believe me, from my own personal experience, when that lesson I don't learn it and it comes around, that wheel spin again and it comes back, it's worse than before. And I started to say, wow, okay, I don't want this at all. So I started to learn the lessons, but it took God to help me with it because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get through it. God, please help me. I need your help because I can't do this alone. And as I put forth the effort and what I'm asking for, He started to help me. And it is the truth. And anything coming to me negative, I go into prayer and God does the rest. Because I had to learn that there are things in life that are beyond my control that I couldn't do anything about. And I had to learn to give it to Him, and it's not easy because I wanted to do these things myself, but I had to learn certain lessons because I had certain people and situations in my life that were not allowing me to move forward. It was keeping me stagnated. And I'll tell you, it mostly toxicity, having toxic people around me and thinking that I had to keep these people in my life. And I had to learn as I started to heal from grief and do therapy that I didn't have to keep these situations in my life. I need to learn to, that these situations were lessons. I needed to learn the lesson. And once the lesson is learned, then the situation is removed. And that's why I don't have a problem now with cutting off toxicity, toxic situations, and toxic people. I will address things because communication is the key factor to anything, any type of situation. And if it continues, then I have to let it go because otherwise, it's going to be worse later on for me. So communication is the key factor. And when it comes to your physical and mental health, that's everything. That's a priority because without that, you can't function. You can't help yourself and you can't help anybody else. Once you learn that and do that and take that time to heal through music, through, I listen to positive videos. Some of the things I talked about before, just that time alone that you need, not always 24/7, but enough time so that you can get through what you're going through. Because grief takes a toll on the body, mind, and the health. And you need that time. If people don't understand that, then you have to set boundaries. And that's what I did. And when the boundaries were being crossed, I had to cut off, block, and delete, which was important for my growth and for my healing. And now that I've continued on this road to healing, I also learned self love because I was letting people do any and everything to me. And in some ways, because of what I was going through, I felt like I deserved it. No, I didn't deserve it. And now, since I've gotten better, it's still always work to do. I just grab the bull by the horn and just I don't let toxicity in. And toxicity because it's a pattern and it goes on and on and on, and you see it. You know, I'm just not going to deal with it. I had a situation with someone and we had to sit down to resolve it. And what I was noticing, this is a while back I'm talking about. I never use names, I never refer to he or she, because I don't want to get into that detail of it. But, we met to discuss a situation, and then we were exchanging what I call small pleasantries, and I'll sit there and exchange the small pleasantries, but I am going to get to the issue that's at hand. I'm not going to sit and like, okay, we talk, bye. No, we're not doing that. We're going to talk about what this issue is so that it can be resolved so it doesn't continue. And if it continues, then cut off, block, and delete for me. This interaction, when you have situations going on and you need to let people know that you need time to yourself to heal from the grief that you're going through, you don't have to be rude about it. You just have a conversation about this is what I'm going through and be honest and do it in a respectful manner, regardless of what the outcome. If a person don't want to respect that, set boundaries. In my case, if it can't be resolved, the resolution may be, we can be cordial to one another if we see each other, but you're not going to be in my life, and I'm not going to feel any way about it, like have a grudge or anything. That might be the best solution, if it's something that's going to be toxic. So after losing so much and repeating cycles of toxicity, I appealed to God, like I said before, to help me, because I was repeating cycles of, different faces, different situations, but the same toxicity. And each time that will spin, that toxic situation, the next one was worse. And I got tired of dealing with that. And so as I worked according to not allowing it in my life by following the advice from my therapist to set boundaries, establish boundaries, and then when I did that and some people would kept crossing them, I had to shut the door to that, and these are some of the things I'm sharing to you. Music, keep your environment positive. When you do that, it helps your mental and physical health as well, because your body and mind is already going through too much, with the losses and things. And just take one day at a time. In the beginning, it may not feel good, but as you persevere and doing things, I watch positive videos as well, something that's uplifting, this to talk about self-worth, how you're worth it. You can Google videos like that as well and watch that. Also, I want to share that it's important to look for a therapist in a state that you live, and connect with one, because that connection and talking to a therapist is an outlet for that pain. You always need an outlet for that pain, so that it doesn't stay stagnated within you. And also connecting to a brief, a grief, I'm sorry, a grief bereavement group where other people are there talking about their situation with grief. And you may learn some ways how they're getting through it. It's important to help other people, and that's important, because when you help other people, you're helping yourself as well. So that's the message today. I know it was a little lengthy, but that's the message today. And please share this with someone, because someone is somewhere being depressed, and you may not know what they're going through, and they may need to hear this message to be uplifted. And I want to reiterate about videos on self-help, videos that self-worth, meant to say, that's important, because it helps to raise up your vibration as well as your self-esteem. Remember, you are always worth it. No, do not allow anyone to tell you you're not. Take one day at a time, and when you start making progress, reward yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You are worth it. Let's continue here. Let's continue, because I learned to turn this pain into a purpose, purpose into power, and power into paying it forward to help others. And I want to see everyone do the same by sharing these videos. Hit the like button and subscribe. I will be back again tomorrow with a new message. Everyone stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, sharing love and light always. Bye for now.